Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something we all do, probably hundreds of times a day without even thinking about it. The gestures we use on our screens.
I mean, think about it, right? We pinch to zoom on a map. We swipe through photos. We drag and drop files. It's like second nature. These gestures just feel so intuitive, so slick. They've basically become the language of our devices, and honestly, it's pretty amazing.
But what if you couldn't do that? What if that simple pinch gesture was physically impossible for you? Or that quick swipe was a total roadblock? For millions of people, this isn't some what if. These really elegant gestures can turn into invisible walls, locking them out of some of the most basic functions.
So let's start there. When do these gestures, these things that are supposed to make our lives easier, actually create barriers? For a whole lot of people, what's intuitive for one person is a dead end for another. Let's dig into who gets left behind.
So who are we talking about here? Well, it's a bigger group than you might think. We're talking about users with motor impairments who might not have that fine motor control for a super precise swipe. We're talking about people who use a stylus or maybe just a single finger to navigate. And this is a big one. We're talking about folks using some really incredible assistive tech. Things like head pointers, eye gaze systems, or even a mouse they control with their voice. Those tools just can't do a two-finger pinch.
And the World Wide Web Consortium, the W3C, they really hit the nail on the head with this. The whole point isn't to get rid of gestures. The goal is to make sure that everyone, no matter what device they're using or what their abilities are, can control the content. It's all about building inclusivity right into the design.
Okay, so that's the problem. So what's the solution? Well, the good news is there's a really elegant rule in the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, that gives us a simple path forward.
So the official name is Success Criterion 2.5.1, Pointer Gestures. But don't let the technical name scare you. The idea is actually super simple. It just says that if your website uses a complex gesture, you have to provide a simple, single pointer way to do the same thing. It's like building a ramp right next to a set of stairs. Simple as that.
So this guideline really hones in on two kinds of gestures. The first one is multi-point. And this is the easy one to get, right? It's just any action that needs more than one finger or pointer at the exact same time. The classic example is pinching with two fingers to zoom in on a photo.
Now, the second type is a little more nuanced. These are path-based gestures, and this is where it gets really interesting. For a path-based gesture, it's not just about where you start and end. The journey your finger takes is what actually matters. A swipe isn't just moving from point A to point B, it's about moving in a specific direct path. If you stray too far, the command just fails.
And this slide just nails that difference. A path-based swipe needs precision, but a simple drag and drop, totally different beast. For drag and drop, it doesn't matter if you take a wobbly, scenic route with your mouse. As long as you pick the file up and land it in the right folder, you're golden. The path you took is totally irrelevant. See the difference? It's all about whether the how of the movement matters.
All right, that's enough theory. Let's make this real. Let's see how this all looks on components we all use every single day. First up, a classic example, an interactive zoomable map. You see these everywhere, and they're a perfect test case for this whole idea.
So on the left, you've got a map where the only way to zoom is by pinching. That's a fail. It requires a multi-point gesture and gives you no other option. But on the right, look how simple the solution is. Just add plus and minus buttons. This version, it passes with flying colors.
And why does it pass? It's pretty obvious, right? Those buttons provide that crucial single-pointer alternative. Anyone can click or tap them. The core function of zooming is now open to everybody. That's it. That's the whole game. All right, next component. Another one you've definitely seen a million times, the photo carousel. Every news site, every online store, they've all got them.
So the failing version on the left forces you to do a precise path-based swipe to get to the next image. But the passing version on the right, it just adds those simple next and previous arrows. Again, it is such a small change, but it makes a world of difference for usability. This passes because those arrows give you a clear, single-point way to navigate. And what's really cool is you don't have to remove the swipe gesture. You can have both. You just give people more than one way to get the job done.
Okay, now let's look at a trickier case. One that really shows where you gotta test this stuff. We're talking about a simple slider control. For adjusting brightness or volume. This is where it gets really interesting. So check this out. With a mouse, a slider is usually not path-based. You could drag it in a kind of wobbly arc and it works just fine. But on a touchscreen, the game totally changes. If you move your finger up or down even a little bit, the browser might think you're trying to scroll the whole page. So it forces you to make a very precise horizontal movement to use the slider. And boom, just like that, it becomes a path-based gesture. So the same exact component can pass for a mouse user, but fail for a touch user. Wild, right?
So what's the big takeaway from all this? At the end of the day, this isn't about ticking off boxes on a compliance checklist. It's about something much bigger. It's about building a web that's fundamentally more inclusive.
And the benefits here are just huge. I mean, of course, it helps users with motor disabilities and folks using assistive tech. But it goes way beyond that. It also helps users with cognitive disabilities who might prefer a clear, predictable button over a more abstract gesture. And let's be honest, it makes for a better experience for everyone. Come on, who here hasn't gotten frustrated with a swipe that just won't register? Buttons are clear, they're reliable, they just work.
So I'll leave you with this. The next time you're designing something or even just using an app, pause for a second. Think beyond the swipe. Look for those simple alternatives and ask yourself this one simple question. Is this design truly open to everyone? Thanks for tuning in.